Okay, just a couple of notes. When you see me exiting out the front, which you see it by virtue of the still images that I captured. So you're looking at impossible light. Remember, while I'm juxtaposing the placement of this light source, the specific environment that is surrounding companies such as Smart Janitorial, FedEx, who are present engaging in the criminal pattern of conduct vicariously on behalf of the state, while they are posing also an impermissible threat, while they all maintaining joint ongoing knowledge, they're monitoring a violation of Title 18, Section 2261A. So literally, as I'm capturing video, as I'm uploading it, all of these demons who are also identified commercially through the aforesaid company names, they know what's being uploaded about them. They know what I'm documenting about them. And I'm to that end, what I'm speaking to is, as I walk out of my apartment and you see the light source, first of all, that's the impossibility, that the light activity that's reaching underneath the walkway, first of all, it's impossible by virtue of that light. That's going to be shade. You need to start paying attention to such details. The sunlight that would be coming from the sun does not do gymnastics like that. It would actually be shade. That's why you have shaded walkways. That's why things like that were constructed. And sunlight does not naturally engage in that sort of gymnastic type conduct and to reach underneath structures in the way that you see them. In addition, the reason why you also know that is because at the same time, when I am at 10:57 a.m., I'm at the Open Public Library. The light source is in its zenith over my head while I'm at the back. I'm standing in a window at the back of the library, and I did that point of documentation to be even more exclusive in the sky space, okay? I did that on purpose. It's even more exclusive than the roof of the Open Public Library, which is also exclusive sky space. So it's not a coincidence. And so I mention all that to preface this. The entity knows what I just documented. Everybody's going to federal prison. You're all group stalking, and I'm going to civilly and criminally prosecute the company names as well. The entity knows what was just uploaded. These psycho-obsessed stalkers who are going to federal prison, they're going for even longer because the video that I captured walking out of my apartment under the light source that's nowhere possibly anywhere near any Upland Public Library in Upland, California, at any time of the day, by the way, while it was rising here, and it's still here over 5 hours later. The entity is group stalking by helicopter, okay? It's not a coincidence. Understand, they're monitoring me inside of my private space. You just saw the light on my ceiling. Okay, you saw the light that's on the floor in the living room while the sun is documented. Okay, the sun is in an entirely different location. The natural environment would dictate that couldn't possibly be the sun outside of my living room window, nor for the amount of time. Okay, both are removing the possibility that it's a natural environment. While I walk out of my apartment and the entity maintains this knowledge of what was just uploaded onto the internet, the documentation is published, the entity is intentionally in the path. Okay, so this is smart janitorial. I believe her name is Maricela. She's intentionally monitoring with LAPD, the entity's sounding helicopter activity, and she is engaging in the passive aggressive stalking conduct. Looking left and right, looking consumed in an activity while they are maintaining, serious obsessive presence in the path, okay? They are making sure they are staying in your path, but the demon possessed want to make sure they look like they're doing something else. They are totally focused on you. And you, no longer ignorant, know that that's the case because of the environment that they're in. This is what she's doing. This is what Hector is doing. Their placement in the path at that moment in the specific environment as well is also, I want to be clear, these are demons that are engaging in retaliatory conduct. So the demon possessed, these psychopaths, these stalkers who are fully surrounded with a body of evidence, they're waiting for the day that they will be literally arrested and hauled off. I mean, you're going to get your day in court, but you don't have a legal argument. They're going to federal prison, and that's going to be a very real result. And the entity is engaging in an act of retaliation, and this is what the demon possessed do. So I want to be clear, in many ways, this is criminal conduct. But understand that this is more so about the demon possessed who are consumed with engaging in their ritualistic demonic conduct, and it is to their demise because now they're going to pay the price in the physical. What they're doing spiritually, all right, what they intend to do, which is supposedly secret. It's not only is it not a secret, but it's also criminal. It's going to be further criminalized. But I want to be clear: there's an obsession because of their condition. There's an ongoing obsession. And this is where you're getting to the mental health of the demon possessed. They are disturbed, mentally demented psychopaths. They are more consumed with, even to its own demise, in the face of evidence, which is insurmountable. And you've got the LAPD. They continue. There is nothing that's going to help them. Absolutely nothing. Okay, they are going to be disbanded, and it's not just the couple and you're not going to maintain. Oh well, these are the only officers that had access to the helicopters, and these are the only. That's not how it's going to go. Okay, the entire police department is entirely illegitimate. because this is a state system. The entity is maintaining a light source anywhere that I go. The entity is group stalking in more than one helicopter. The fire department is doing it also. Okay, the entity, and that's a matter of documentation. It's not just here in LA. It is the entire police department that is going to be disbanded. And that's a matter of common sense federal policy. That's just how that's going to work. You're not going to pick and choose. Oh, it's this one. No, it's not. It's all of them. And this is the reality of understanding the condition of those. And their engagement, their continuous engagement is showing the inability to make any reasonable decision to cease from engaging in what you know is wrong. Okay, these are demons who are engaging in an act of retaliation. And I want to be clear, the fact that it's criminal is not stopping the demon possessed. It doesn't deter them, even while they are literally faced with what any other intelligent person would look like. It's not looking good. Maybe we should, slow this down, because this person is literally, I have you surrounded with evidence. And how are you going to explain that evidence in court? How are you going to explain light that's appearing on the ceiling? That's not the figment of the imagination of a targeted individual suffering from some mental capacity, like the entity would like to falsely contend. That's the pattern of conduct, criminal defamation. The entity is engaging in an act of retaliation, and that's why they're going to federal prison even longer. That's the impermissible threat. That's impunity. All right. Cleaning any building in relevant position is criminal presence. The side of the building that they are at as I exit, the entity sounding simultaneously helicopter activity. Understand this is demons that are acting simultaneously. It's the same thing with James Jung, impunity. He's not even from this country. He's from Korea. We're going to send him right back to Korea on the next thing smoking. He's out of here permanently. He will also go to federal prison. He is vital enough to sit in federal prison, do serious time, and ship him right out of this country. They're not welcome here, violating the constitutional and human rights of American citizens. You've been granted the privilege to be here. And regardless of the fact that the very government is violating the constitutional rights and human rights of American citizens, you will not be welcome here. And the government actors themselves will also face justice. Okay, so I want to make sure you understand what that was. And you have Lorraine Pena, a 76-year-old woman who knows what's being documented. She's a demon crossing paths with engineered light. She's monitoring. This is a psychopath that is a sex offender. She knows what I'm doing in my apartment. She doesn't have to be near me. This is demonic activity. Okay, this is how it works. I'm not going to mince words with you. I've shown you the impossible. I'm going to literally break it down for you. They have an ongoing real-time knowledge jointly about what I'm doing, and it doesn't matter where I go, because this demon possession is amongst a population. So if I get in my car and I drive to the Arco gas station, the entity is moving the light source to be squarely over my head at that Arco gas station, where, by the way, at no point of the day is it ever over the Arco gas station. And that's why I've shown you day in and day out, it remains right here at Alvarado Gardens. It's not remaining here all day it's not remaining here all day long and then also over Arco gas station at some point in the day and proceeding. No, it's not looking like it's remaining still and also looking like it's moving at the same time, which is what the entity is suggesting. And also, because you're not paying attention to the environment, that's how you'll understand what you're looking at when you're in Florida and you see a sun over your head. How is that? How is that? That's what you should be asking yourself, because it's not the natural environment. In Northern California, it's a sunny day. How is that though? Because the light source is hovering over me. You're looking at through the light activity. You're looking at the light source that's hovering over my head. You're looking at this demon-possessed law enforcement agent. They're flying right by it, flying right through it. They're disappearing in that light, but they're not set. They're not set on fire. It's hovering right over the building, but it's not set on fire. It's a hovering light source that remains all day long. So anyway, the entity is engaging in this act of retaliation, and this is speaking to an ongoing obsession. This brings into question the mental health, the mind state of the third party and or state actor, necessarily so. And this is what you're mindful of. This is what you are cognizant of. This is what you're witnessing while I'm documenting the pattern of conduct. And that act to engage in an act of retaliation is a threat to the life of the target individual. And Lorraine Pena, again, 76 years old, she's going to, I don't know how long but that's not the target individual's concern. Justice requires, just like any other actor that is obsessively stalking you and on behalf of a government, which is a threat to your life, she's going to sit her 76-year-old self in a federal cell, period. She's not escaping that. There's no negotiation out of that, or you can't buy your way out of that. It's not going to be, FedEx is going to pay a certain amount of money to negotiate. And then no, that's not how it's going to go. It's a criminal and civil prosecution. All right. The entity is engaging in this during the workplace. So that's workplace terrorism and harassment and sexual violence, while the impossible light is here in order to touch all over me as I enter the door of my office. The entity is crossing path while that light source moves from being outside of my living room window to being back to adjacent to building 1810, which I cannot see out my window in order to capture that light source while I'm at building 1806, which has nothing to do with the engineered light that you see on my ceiling inside of my bedroom. All right. I just want to make sure I point that out, that simultaneity of conduct. Pay attention to what you're looking at. And then you don't forget the impossible light activity while you see them wanting to look to the left and right like they're doing anything else. That's a delusional psychopath whose mental state is necessarily and reasonably brought into question. So I want to be clear, the default prosecution by default, standard up. Prosecution as a group stalker, you are subject to mental examination. Necessarily so, you're an obsessed and deranged, highly demented, and delusional. Because, and this is by virtue of their condition, this goes beyond criminal conduct that they're engaging in. Understand, this is just a criminalization of what a demon possessed, of what the wicked are engaging in. This is just the ability to prosecute it in a court. All right. They're not throwing pixie dust and casting spells. You can't prosecute that, but you can prosecute the conduct that they're engaging in. You can prosecute the criminal mind that they maintain. You can prosecute the attitudes and while they engage in showing impunity and a disregard for the rights of, or you can prosecute all of that. All right. And you can frame them by the environment that they're in. And this is revealing what you cannot deny. And the federal court can in every way address the unnatural environment. Without getting into anything having to do with religion or spirituality. You don't have to go there. It is relying on hard facts that everybody can see and everybody can agree on. And it is clear where you are engaging in the pattern of conduct and you maintain ongoing real-time knowledge about what's being documented about you by the nature of the crime of monitoring and also by their condition, which is also not a mystery. It is also established through evidence which you are witnessing. Engineered light moving across a building, you're witnessing a demon-possessed person. Okay? That's demon possession. The entity is not coincidentally engaging in conduct that's occurring simultaneously. They're engaging in an act of retaliation with ongoing knowledge of what was just published about them on the internet. That's the impermissible threat while you are enforcing your rights. The government is going to be stopped from engaging in that. And that's exactly what Smart Janitorial, Marticela and Hector, they're going to federal prison for a long time. All right. And they're going for a prolonged period, not only because they're here systematically group stalking on behalf of a corrupt law enforcement agency whose stalking conduct is going to be used against them in federal court. The ND is also engaging in an act of retaliation, again, to its own demise. Nobody's fooled about the pattern of conduct that you are engaged in, nor your condition when you are in the environment and you want to look to the left or the right. That is the evidence that a federal court will consider when you are addressing the mind state of the third party group stalker. That's the delusional psychopath. That's exactly what it looks like. Because that's the intent to obstruct justice. And that presupposes that you're ignorant about the environment. You're not ignorant about the environment. So you are looking at the malice. That's a psychopath, not somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. That's crazy. Oh, I don't know. Oh, no. They know. They're malicious. All right. And that behavior, that is the evidence that adds to how you are coming to a decision in a court with regard to the mind state of the demon possessed, because their mind state is necessarily, they're subject to mental examinations and their mental state of mind. It is disturbed by virtue of their outward behavior. We're not reading minds. You don't have to take out some crystal ball. You're not doing any of that. This is all based on hard facts, okay, and evidence, which I know is how you prosecute a case. So I just want to point that out to you and engage in that discussion. And they're doing so again. The evidence, what I will also upload, while the light source is remaining, because I was using documentation from, I think today is from March 16, 2022. So at 10:57 a.m., I'm in the Upland Public Library at 450 North Euclid Avenue in Upland, California. And at 10:57 a.m., you're looking at that hovering light source, which is nowhere possibly over me while you're looking at FedEx group stalking. That's the evidence of what FedEx is, what FedEx supports, what FedEx is engaged in. Okay, by virtue of them hiring demon-possessed third-party group stalkers. If you don't want to be affiliated with it, then I suggest you change how you hire people, because this is something that is being exposed and it is creating a new responsibility. You don't have to give religious texts with regard to demon possession, but I know that you have liability now. So if you are in any way providing facilitation to the state for monitoring, you're going to be held liable for it, period. And that's a matter of justice. Okay, the entity is engaging in the pattern of conduct at 10:57 while it's over me in Upland, California. That's not possibly the sun. I remain at Upland, California, inside of that Upland Public Library, which I documented in 2 additional videos. Between the time of, I believe it's 11 and 12:39, I captured 2 more videos, and you see that light source squarely over my head and while I'm inside of the Upland Public Library, that exclusive sky space, which is the roof. This is directly relevant to what you see over my head while I'm walking out of my apartment, and you see LAPD crossing path and helicopter, and you see Smart Janitorial, not coincidentally, coincidentally. James Jung, not coincidentally, stalking in the path. One looking like they're focused on cleaning the building. You can look like you're focused on doing whatever you want while you're group stalking in the path in the specific environment. The specific environment is there for a criminal purpose, maliciously there. You are supposed to be distracted and ignorant about it. That's no more. So the entity is engaging in this conduct while I am walking out of my apartment. The entity is simultaneously group stalking my helicopter, and the light source is over me. And I'm going to remind you about where I'm at this time. I remained at the Upland Public Library for the rest of the day. But specifically, I will upload the videos between 11 to 12:39 p.m. And that's referencing directly this video where you see Lorraine Pena, you see Smart Janitorial, Hector and Maricela, and James Jung group stalking in the path is what that is. Lorraine Pena walks out while she's maintaining presence, and this 76-year-old woman does not learn her lesson. So she's going to have to learn a very hard lesson by sitting in federal prison. And that goes, and understand how this federal policy goes, and because you're learning about human nature and you're learning about the presuppositions. People are relying on the appearance of things. People are relying upon you to have an assumption about them or make a conclusion about them or make it seem as though, well, it's impossible. You can never think this or they would never be capable of doing that. All of that is irrelevant. I just want to let you know it's all irrelevant. And the demon possessed, the highly malicious, a corrupt government is relying on that. That's why they are using the people of the state. That's how that works. That's the reality of the breakdown of that. Okay, they are relying on you having whatever preconceived notions you have about people and whoever you think could never possibly be engaged in, and it's all legally irrelevant. The evidence shows exactly what the evidence shows. Any other legally irrelevant speech, really, I'm not concerned with it. It doesn't matter. Your opinions don't matter in court either. It doesn't matter. All right. The evidence speaks for itself. So I want to make sure that you understand the significance of that. And I'm going to upload those two videos because that's where I'm at on the same day. I remain at the Upland Public Library while you're seeing it remain over me, over my head. And you're looking at the light activity reaching underneath the covered structure of my apartment building while the light source is remaining over me at Upland Public Library through the roof. Okay, and it doesn't go anywhere. It remains there, and I captured two videos to that end to show that. The two are not happening at the same time. The ongoing evidence of what are psychopaths who are engaging in an act of retaliation while they know that I'm publishing documentation, and that is showing the mental health attention that the demon-possessed need. And that includes the demons that are affiliated with these law enforcement agencies. It's currently 12:14 p.m., and this is P.O.C.